So this guy ate like RFK Jr. for a week, and it didn't end up well for him. This is by a guy named Jack Hobbs from the Irish Star. It says, "For a week, I ate like Health and Human Services Secretary RFK Jr., and it took a massive toll on my body as I followed his very specific diet. Starting a new diet is never, ever easy, and especially when said diet seems to run counter to almost everything you know, uh, everything you ever eat. This past week, I decided to undertake what I have dubbed the RFK Jr. diet, which consists of meat, eggs, asparagus, green beans, mango slices, black tea, and, well, more meat." The Health and Human Services Secretary revealed during an interview with USA Today's The Excerpt that he is on a carnivore diet and doesn't eat a single thing before noon. However, when the clock does strike that lovely hour, the Trump official scarfs down four eggs and a few strips of bacon. It was then reported that the HHS secretary, who just turned 72, allows himself to enjoy a snack of peanuts or pistachios throughout the day, along with an hour at the gym. Reports show that Kennedy likes to have dinner on the early side, before 7 p.m. And when he does, it's a nice 12-ounce ribeye steak, cooked rare. Previous research shows that intermittent fasting is supposed to promote mental clarity, weight loss, and lower risk of serious diseases. Some studies, however, said that fasting could lead to nutritional deficiencies, dehydration, and heart problems. Speaking on his diet to the excerpt, Kennedy said, "This may not be right for other people, but I lost 40% of my visceral fat," whatever the hell that means. "It was a really extraordinary benefit," he added. "The way I feel, my mental clarity, my word retrieval, I had noticeable improvements." The Health and Human Services Secretary revealed during an interview with USA Today's The Excerpts that he is on a carnivore diet. Uh, Naturally, after consuming President Donald Trump's McDonald's order and surviving it, I knew I had to attempt the diet. So, with the repeated pleas from my editors not continue if I started to feel bad rattling around in my head, I started right off the bat. I knew I was going to have a hard time with this. As someone who loves coffee and admittedly relies on it to get through the day, I knew that completing this challenge would take all the willpower and determination I possessed. Kennedy's diet, consisting of eggs, meat, black tea, peanuts, pistachios, green beans, and asparagus, costs around $200 to eat for a solid week. Day one, I am not ashamed to say, felt like hell on earth. Throughout the day, my body repeatedly reminded me that I needed caffeine and food to even perform the simplest of functions. Dear reader, as someone who used to keep a constant supply of protein bars and other snacks in their backpack, the first hours of this experience taught me to never underestimate what my partner brings home from work. Finally, as the clock struck noon, I was able to push myself from the desk, muttering a thank God, finally, and warm up the eggs and bacon which I had cooked the night before. When the clock does strike noon, the Trump official scarfs down 4 eggs and a few strips of bacon before snacking on nut-based items. The rest of the day, which seemed to last forever, given I was only allowed to drink black tea or water, passed without incident, despite a few jabs from my coworkers asking me how I was feeling, telling me I seemed quiet compared to my usual self, who was always down for a good yap session or even asking if I had caved and given up on the diet. Things sadly took a turn as I got home from the gym, having not imbibed coffee or a Diet Coke, something the president and I unfortunately have in common. My brain started to pound, and I felt like every move I made was like banging my head against a wall. Dinner came early, and as detailed above, while I attempted to find beef tallow, I was unable to and resigned to raiding my cabinet for anything that would let me consume the beef, which my partner said they could still hear it mooing. Even before completing the challenge, I knew that this was going to be an epic challenge to my willpower. I realize now, after completing the diet, that intermittent fasting is something I will probably never be able to attempt again. The biggest challenge, aside from getting my body regulated enough to stop the pounding headaches, was the constant, do you want a snack or coffee? Don't get me wrong, I was very grateful. By my God, it was hard not to say yes. As day one came to an end, I was seriously hard pressed to keep myself on track with this diet. And it just gets worse from there. Like, I shouldn't read the whole thing. It's quite a long uh, article. But goodness gracious, beef with beef tallow, eggs, nuts, asparagus, and mango, and what's the other one? I can't even remember. Is it like some other vegetable? I can't remember. But only like one or two vegetables and one fruit and the whole thing. That's quite something, isn't it? Gotta wonder how these idiots actually end up surviving. Of course, we're talking about the guy who consumed cocaine off of toilet seats, so I guess he can withstand anything. But goddamn, Oh, I could have read that article. It would have taken me like a half hour to read it, probably, but I'm not going to subject you to any more of this. Um, this is what RFK Jr.'s diet does after a day. Congratulations to anybody who's dumb enough to try it. Just know that we have a bunch of pseudoscientific idiots running HHS right now, including RFK Jr. So be careful out there. Good heavens to Betsy, I'd be careful if I were you. Anyways, please like and subscribe if you enjoy this content. Really would appreciate it. Thanks a lot.